and welcome to the YouTube channel of Books and Beyond. I am Asta Sharma, the content creator and the channel manager of Books and Beyond, and today's video is going to be about the Shades of Magic series by Victoria Schwa. So I read the Shades of Magic series earlier this year. I think I did a full Victoria Schwa binge in July of this year, and since then I've become an absolute fan of Victoria Schwa and the entirety of Shades of Magic trilogy. So I thought, let's make a video about it. So the Shades of Magic series consists of A Darker Shade of Magic, A Gathering of Shadows, and A Conjuring of Light. So the Shades of Magic series is an adult high fantasy series, so keep that in mind when you pick the series up. It's not YA, it's adult. So what is Shades of Magic series about? So the world of Shades of Magic consists of 4 different versions of Londons. So first we have the Grey London, which is our London. Then we have the Red London, which is where our main character Kell is from. He is the adopted son of the royal family, the Marish family, who rules over the Red London. And Red London is a flourishing city where everybody uses magic. And then we have the White London, which is ruled by the sadistic and evil Dane twins. And here magic is kind of depleting and is used only by the royal family and not by other people. And then we have the Black London, which has been completely destroyed by its own use of magic. Now our main character Kell is an Antari. Now Antaris are these blood magicians. They are extremely powerful and are extremely rare. And Antaris are the only one who can navigate the 4 different versions of London. So using their blood magic, they can form these doors through which they can navigate the 4 different versions of London. So Antaris act as messengers between the royal families. So the plot of A Darker Shade of Magic starts with Kell, our main character, delivering a message from Red London to Grey London. Now, along with his messenger duties, Kell is also involved in smuggling items from all over the 4 Londons. And during one of his smuggling endeavors, he stumbles across a mysterious object, and that sort of unravels the entire plot of A Darker Shade of Magic. So Darker Shade of Magic has got quite a slow build up to the story. So in the first half of the book, there's a lot of info dumping, there's a lot of character introduction, which personally for me is not an issue. I kind of enjoy the info dumping and the character introduction in the first half of the book itself, because I feel like then I'll be able to enjoy the story a little bit more, because then I don't have to get confused with the character names and the new terms and the world names and everything. So I personally really love the whole slow build up to a story. It's only in the second half of the book that the pace of the story really picks up, and when it does, it's like it gets really good. We have our 2 main characters, Kell and Lila, and it's almost impossible not to ship them together. Their banter is everything. I love Lila. I think she's so fantastic. Her dialogues and her character arc was just one of my most favorite to read in this series. I really enjoyed it. I think this is an amazing beginning to a series, and I gave A Darker Shade of Magic a 4 out of 5 stars. Alright, so the next book we have is The Gathering of Shadows. A Gathering of Shadows. Yes, sorry. So Gathering of Shadows is the sequel to A Darker Shade of Magic, and I'm not going to say the plot of this book because I think it's going to be spoilery, but even if I want to be spoilery, I feel like it's going to be very weird to explain the plot, because I feel like this book doesn't have any specific plot. This is like a classic example of like the bridge book between the first book and the second book. Some people would say that this book faces the middle book syndrome in a trilogy, because like I said, it doesn't really have a specific plot. It doesn't have a lot of action here. But that being said, for me personally, I did not feel like this book has the middle book syndrome or whatever it is, because I thoroughly enjoyed A Gathering of Shadows. I gave this book a 5 out of 5 stars, and it is because of the characters. I feel like Victoria Schwa's most strongest asset is her characterizations. The way she makes her characters, builds up her characters, they are so well fleshed out and are so unique that even if they do nothing in the book, I would still read it because they are so damn interesting to read about. And for me personally, I'm a very character driven reader. So for me, that Gathering of Shadows, oh, for goodness sake. So for me personally, the Gathering of Shadows didn't have any specific plot, and the main characters weren't doing a lot of the things here wasn't a problem for me, because like I said, I love all of the characters here, and so I just really enjoyed this book. So we have 4 different POVs in this book, and all 4 of them were just a delight to read. We have some introductions to new side characters, and so I think as a result the reading experience of this book was even more amazing. And it's only in the last, I would say, about 50 pages of this book is where the action picks up, and then all hell breaks loose. And this book ends in one of the most horrible cliffhangers, horrible in all the good ways. And I think after finishing this book, I was so glad that I was binging this series, because God knows what I would have done if I hadn't had the 3rd book with me, because it ends in such a horrible cliffhanger. And then right after A Gathering of Shadows comes A Conjuring of Light. Now this, ladies and gentlemen, is the star of the trilogy. I mean, if I'm recommending this book to you, I always, like, whenever I'm recommending this series to people, I always say, like, maybe don't read it for the 1st book or don't read it for the 2nd book, but read it for this book. This, for me, is the highlight of the trilogy, and rightfully so, because this book is a perfection. Like, here the action starts from the 1st page onwards and it doesn't stop up until the last page. So A Conjuring of Light starts right after the ending of The Gathering of Shadows, and like I said, after that it just doesn't stop. And like I said, like, this book, people, is a perfection. And like I said, I think, like, I was enjoying this series up until A Gathering of Shadows, but when I started reading this, I think this series just stole my heart and I fell in love with it, because this book, ladies and gentlemen, is so good. Obviously I can't really say a lot because then everything is spoilery here, but I really enjoyed, and especially, again, like I said, Victoria Schwa's strongest asset, her characters. I think in this book as well, what she did is there were like these small point of views of all of the side characters, which made the experience of reading this book so very amazing. So like I said, if you want to pick this series up, I would say pick it up for this book. I know, like I said, when I'm recommending this to people, I'm always saying that, listen, Gathering of Shadows is gonna be a little slow and you don't want to maybe continue with the series, but please continue, because you do not want to miss this book out. This is a roller coaster. I love this. I feel like there is not even a single page in which I was bored. There were like these scenes where all the side characters were sort of sitting down and they were discussing, and those scenes, I loved it. As much as I love the action, I really love those scenes, because you really get to see the camaraderie between the cast members. No, because you really get to see the relationship between the characters and the camaraderie between them. The banter between them was just so good. And there were some flashback scenes in Conjuring of Light, which again was so important and so interesting to the character. I can't really say which character, because again, I feel like it will be a kind of a spoiler, but again, like I said, it was so good. And obviously I gave A Conjuring of Light a whooping 5 out of 5 stars. I feel like it can take up like 10 out of 5 stars. I would just give it that much. So overall, I really enjoyed this series. Like I said, I am a very character-driven reader, and Victoria Schwa's strongest asset is her characterizations. She creates some of the most well-fleshed out, very interesting and unique characters, which are just a delight to read. And her world building, again, is just so magical and atmospheric. With her amazing style of writing, it's just an absolute delight to read her books. I did a full-on Victoria Schwa binge. After this, I also read her Villains series, Vicious and Vengeful, and like, we can make another video about those books as well, because I love Vicious and Vengeful so much. But yeah, I really enjoyed this entire series. This was my introduction to V.E. Schwab, and she didn't disappoint me at all. So pick the series up if you want some amazing atmospheric style of writing, some amazing diverse characters with some fantastic representation, amazing complex magic systems, some amazing politics between the 4 different versions of London, amazing world building, and all of these goodness. If you want to read those, then definitely pick up Shades of Magic series by Victoria Schwa. Alright guys, that was my review of the Shades of Magic series by Victoria Schwa. If you enjoyed the video, then don't forget to like it. Comment down if you have read the book series or your thoughts on the series, or if you're excited to pick this series up. And let me know down in the comments section what kind of other reviews you would like to see or what kind of videos you would like to see from me. And please consider subscribing. If you do, then don't forget to click on the bell icon to get notified every time we upload a video. And I'll be seeing you guys in my next video. Till then, bye bye.